Hello again, everyone. Today's video is going to be about homeschool co-ops and curriculum. The part about co-ops, I'll just do that briefly. This is not real long. This part of it is not real long. The best place to find information about co-op is either a state or local group, such as in Tennessee, we have the Tennessee Home Education Association. The whole state's divided up into several associations, and my particular one is Smoky Mountain. So this explains co-op support groups and activities, and they've sorted the ones that are in this area. They have sorted. First, they sorted them by days of the week. So if you have a particular day that you prefer to get with a co-op, then that's what you can look at. You can look, for example, on Monday here, these are the different ones. This is when these meet. Tuesdays are when these meet. There's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then they sorted them alphabetically. So if you've heard of one, but you're not sure what day it meets, then if you want to search through here, you can. Or you can go down here, and they also have listed Facebook pages or websites that some of these co-ops will have. And it explains where they meet, gives you a phone number, and it tells a little bit about it. Let's see. We actually belong to one that meets on Tuesday. And I can go, there it is. Actually do this one on Tuesdays. If there is a cost to joining, they will list the cost. This one is close to our house, and we had several friends that already went there, and we looked it over and decided that that's something that we wanted to do. So this is our second year being in the co-op. I honestly had no idea that there were so many in this area, but there are a lot. So if you get online and start searching in your area, you might be surprised at how many there actually are. I know one of the questions that homeschoolers get asked a lot, a ridiculous question in my opinion: what about socialization? Well, first of all, we're supposed to be going to be educated, not socializing, but whatever. So this would take care of that. You can meet kids their age, make friends, and learn how to get along with other people if that's what is a concern. Anyway, so that's an example of co-ops. It's basically it's weekly opportunity to meet with other homeschool families and share the effort in educating the children. So if there's something, let's say, one of the biggest things I think is high school math and science. That is a big concern for a lot of homeschool parents, because they just have their high school math and science to fall back on, and it's been a few years, and they might not remember everything about it. I know in my case, I'm not real big on science. Obviously I can do math, but science it was kind of self-taught for some of my high schoolers. And so they passed, but they didn't really enjoy it as much as they could have. And I think with someone else that has way more knowledge than I do and knows how to teach it, it's just a better experience for them. So there's that. Now, see all these tabs I have open? Oh yeah. The big thing that really scares a lot of new homeschoolers, I think, is curriculum. There's like, what am I going to do about curriculum? I don't know. You know what? Yeah, the reason is because back when they first started homeschooling, it wasn't that big a deal. You could just get whatever the school had, or, then, and use that or whatever. And this is an article. It's a good article to read. Okay. So now there's so many choices out there. So what they say, this is what people say. Okay, so you have different styles of schooling. Traditional schooling, road schooling, world schooling. Both of those involve travel. So I would think that you either have a job that you travel for, or you have money that you can take a lot of trips. I don't know. I don't know how else it would work. Unschooling, I tried that. It didn't work for us. Eclectic homeschooling is where you're going to take a little bit of each of these and put them together and do what works for you. Classical homeschooling is like this. It's been around for centuries. Montessori homeschooling, yeah, if you had a problem pronouncing that, so did I. I had to Google it. Montessori home. That's like experiencing, like it's like, I don't know. You can read that. I'm not very familiar with that. I think a lot of it is more for the, like it says, young learners. So that's something. Homeschooling with unit studies. That is where you can take a topic or theme and you can actually integrate all of the subjects into that. You can go on okay, so this Time for Learning is a really good website to find out a lot of things. It's also a curriculum that you can sign up for if you choose to do that. The Charlotte Mason homeschooling, a lot of reading involved in that one. Waldorf homeschooling. I would say these actually would work together because the Charlotte Mason homeschooling also has a lot of going on nature walks and stuff like that. So I think those would probably work well together if you chose those. Okay, so going back, this website, there's a lot of people that uses this, and if you see, they have their own curriculum. You can look through. They actually have some samples over here, some demos. I looked at the pre-K one just today, and there was a lot involved. I think I would actually recommend this for someone just starting out if they weren't real sure of what to do. This is, I think, would be a very helpful resource. It does cost. There is a cost involved to it. I know a lot of people maybe just have one income and it's not, a big income, and they would need something. There's the price down here. They would need something that's not quite as much as this because this is per month. They do take some off for multiple students, but like if I've got a child in each grade here, and I will continue to have that for a couple more years. I'll have 4 high schoolers for a few more years. They just keep moving up. So that would be pretty pricey for me. And I personally wouldn't do this, but I would say if you have the money, if you're just starting out, you just have 1 or 2 children, $20 a month, that's not bad. All the way through 8th grade. And there are a lot of, I think this would be a pretty good curriculum to use. Let's see. Now I used the same website for this, talking about the curriculum. How do you decide what curriculum? Say, one of the things is to learn how, like, watch your child and see how they learn best. Some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some are kinesthetic learners, which, like, hands-on, they need to actually do it. Honestly, I have found in my experience that it's a little of all of them. It's almost, and I think that it's like basically how we were taught in public school. I know this, I hate to say something good out of public school, but anyway. Okay, so we were shown how to do it. We were shown how to do the problem, how to write the sentence, whatever, and then we did it ourselves. Like we watched the teacher do it, and they walked us through it, and then we went on and did it for ourselves without help, if that makes sense. So it's kind of all of them, in my opinion. It seems to be all of them. We watched someone else do it, we did it with their help, and then we did it on our own. Okay, so this is actually a good article, and I'm going to include links down below in the description so that you can just click on them and you don't have to try to write it down or something. This is actually a good article if you're new to homeschooling. So it's kind of funny. There's a little humor in it. It says, whatever you do, don't do an internet search for homeschool curriculum. And honestly, yeah, you would get completely overwhelmed. You really need to think it through, ask questions. If you have friends that are already homeschooling, look at their curriculum. Look at a few different ones before you actually make the commitment. Because some of them it would, be a few $100s worth. And then if you decide you don't like it, or your student doesn't like it, or it just doesn't work for you, then you're out, this money, and then you feel like you have to use it because you spent all this money on it. And it can be kind of stressful. So this, for homeschool curriculum, try before you buy. So ask around, ask people, what theirs is like. Ask them if you can, look at it, touch it, handle it, borrow it for a week. So just different things. But this is what they were talking about, 20 years ago, there wasn't that much out there available. Now, there's 11 billion options. So they walk you through different things to help you find what you think your curriculum should be. What's your educational philosophy? It's not as deep as it sounds. What's your child's learning style? So that you find out and then here's a good thing right here. It doesn't all have to be textbooks and paper and pencil. Some of it needs to be, yes, but not all of it. Well, I'm not even going to say some of it needs to be, because there are successful homeschoolers out there that don't use textbooks and everything like that. But think outside the box. There's books they can read. You can watch documentaries. You've got board games to play. You've got all the stuff. You can go on field trips to museums and the zoo and theaters, the library. In our county in particular, there is such a large homeschool group that one of the libraries actually has a small room set aside with curriculum in it that you can actually check out and see if it's something that you want to invest in. So here's this. Deschooling is a deprogram. This is very important if they've been in public school, because your homeschool is not going to look like the public school they went to. It's going to be different. You're going to be doing things at different times. All this stuff. I really encourage you to read this article. It's even for me, it's a good read. I've been doing this for years. YouTube videos are awesome. Okay, so deschooling. Here's one. What methodology fits you best? Okay, what approach? So why did you decide to homeschool? What do you think, what do you consider education to be? They've condensed it into 3 basic categories and gives you an example of the style of teaching that would work with that. I didn't see eclectic in here. My style is pretty eclectic. We read a lot. There's some unschooling, a little bit of unschooling involved. If something interests them, they can learn about it. I do also do textbooks and workbooks, and the co-op that we attend also does textbooks. So they do get a little bit of everything. And you can do that too. You can have an eclectic style of homeschool, and it's where you just, whatever season of life you're in, things will work differently. I suggest Facebook groups. That's a good idea. local ones, ones that are on a national level. You can get all kinds of help from them, some things that you never thought of. And some websites to help you find the curriculum too. This is what I was saying about you spend a lot of money on curriculum, but you don't like it, or your child doesn't like it, or you both like it, but it's not really what you want. The results aren't what you want. It may be more complicated or too simple, or it may be perfect. You never know. But you just don't want to invest all that money and then find out that everybody hates it. So this is a good blog. That's a very good article. I will definitely link this one so that you can read that and maybe follow their links. Okay. Now I'm going to get into what I've done over the years. This may not work for you. It doesn't work for everybody. It's just what worked for our family. So in the very beginning, well, I got, I'll just find that. I actually forgot about that when I was getting these all lined up. Okay, so I found someone I know was doing these with their child. And so I found them used on eBay and bought them. I cannot remember how much they were. But oh, look, they're having a sale. So I got the very basic, very first ones. I don't have that many DVDs. Okay, I think it was this one. Now it's probably going to do the whole set. Yeah, it wasn't the reading. Okay. I should have had this pulled up, but... Okay, it had all of these in it. 7 DVDs. So I'm not sure. It's one set. Okay, it's one set, but it has all of these in the set. All of these DVDs. And I think it's pretty fun. It's very basic, but it does help them learn. So that's something you do for pre-K students. They might get addicted to it, but that could be anything. Okay, so this is a very basic book to teach children how to read. I've used this for all of mine. There was one child that I did have a problem with it, and I switched over to teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons, and that did not work for us either. And actually, what worked was her dad teaching her. So that's something to consider also. I figured it out later that we were having a personality clash. We're just too much alike, and she just didn't want to learn from me. She was more of a daddy's girl, and so when he'd come home from work and he would sit down and teach her, and he taught her out of this, and she is a very excellent reader. All of my children that have learned from this are really good readers. So that's something. There's a lot of testimonials on here. And I also discovered you can actually, if you go on YouTube and look this up, there's someone who actually goes through it. So help you understand how it works. I think it's very simple to use. And I literally do have the very same book that I started when I taught my oldest, who's 23. I taught her to read, and it did start falling apart, but I took the pages, put them in sheet protectors, and put them in a binder. So we put ours in a binder and still using the same one. So I've used it for like 17 years now, or 18 years, because I started teaching her when she was 5. So for 18 years. So this you can order from here. You could find it on Amazon. You could find it used on eBay. You can find it on Christian book distributors. Yeah. Okay, so that's for reading, teaching them to read. And then after that, I I'll show you this one. This is the one I started with because this company has workbooks. It's very similar to something called Aces Paces, which is from this website. So what they do is they have 10 workbooks per subject per year. When I started, I do offer textbooks in high school. Let's go by grade. Okay, it's pretty easy to navigate. I'll start with grade 1 because kindergarten. They have teachers' books to go along with them. Okay, they do have a learning to read, and I did get this, and I kept these are consumable. They use them and throw them away. These you keep. They're the little readers. This is a hardback reader with a lot of stories in it. I kept these, even though we stopped using the actual curriculum for it, because they're just good, clean stories. Then they have Bible, they have language arts, and math. And this is what I keep doing up through 8th grade. Of science, they have social studies. Okay, so I do not, when I first started, like I said, I used all of these except for the Bible because we do our own Bible reading as a family and study. So we use that. But I did the reading, the language, I did it all. And gradually over the years, I dropped different subjects and I found other curriculum that I wanted to use. So what's nice about this is let me go to the math because I still do use their math, like I said, for the younger up through pre-algebra. Okay, so this is what's nice. In the beginning of the year, if you have, they're very inexpensive. You can buy the whole set of 10, call them a light unit. Buy the whole set of 10. The teacher's guidebooks. This one goes through books 1 through 5, and this one is 6 through 10. You don't have to get all of this. I mean, you can find flashcards at the Dollar Tree for $1. And these things, you don't actually have to get them. They're just supplements that you can use if you want. Okay, so here's the thing. You can order individual items. That's one thing that puts a lot of people off is having to buy a bulk curriculum. I don't know what else to call it, the whole curriculum. So you can actually say, okay, I want to test this curriculum out and see what it's all about. So I'm just going to get one. It's $3.70. So all you have to do is just get one, order it, and it'll come in the mail, and you can look it over, have your child do it and see how, that if it works for them and you. That's one of the things that I really like about this curriculum. And I really like the math because there's not a whole lot of busy work. Once they've learned the concept, they move on. If you happen to be in Canada, you can get a Canadian version of it. Just put that in there. So that's what this curriculum is. These are workbook or what they call line units. So let's go to grade 12. They have literature. There's their math, science, social studies. They're also, I do believe, it seems like they started selling Apologia math. I mean, not math, science. Okay. Let's go. Speaking of Apologia, we use Apologia for science. I have the textbooks. I don't have the latest one. What are they? Edition? Yeah. I like the first edition and one of the high school ones, so we can use that. The co-op, but we did. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, that was more questions. Okay, let's do this one. Here we go. I only have the books for the grade school, elementary school, the textbooks. So if you can get this, one of my sons is actually using this one right now through the co-op. So you have a student book, a textbook, and a DVD. This is what we use for science. This is a long video, so I'm gonna try not to spend too much time on these. Matthew C. So this is what I said I used for like kindergarten, or actually pre-K through 8th grade. So this is what we use in high school. The kids liked it, although they did say that some of the stuff that they had here, they had already learned in here. I've also heard that this particular curriculum is more advanced than others. So I'm not sure about that, but this one, oh, what happened to my freezing? Okay. So my kids enjoy this one. They're doing this one through the co-op. This is the one that they use there, and they are enjoying it, and it's a good fit for them right now for high school. Okay, so the only thing that I actually have through these these are two very big, well-known curriculum for homeschool. Bob Jones University. If you notice, these are Christian. I said in one of my videos, we are Christians, and that's how we choose our curriculum. And something's going up with my computer. It's not wanting to go to Becca. If you've ever heard, a Becca is a big one. I think I just closed it out. Okay, so Bob Jones and a Becca. I have actually found textbooks for history in used bookstores. We have a big used bookstore here in Knoxville called McKay's, and there's one in Chattanooga, and I think they might have put one in Nashville. I can't remember. It's big. You can find a lot. The one in Chattanooga has a lot of homeschool curriculum there. I've been in there once or twice, and I found they have a huge selection. And I found history textbooks from some from Bob Jones, some from Abeka, that I use for history, just for them to read history. Okay, so this is handwriting books. These, I saw a friend using these about 13 years ago, and their children's handwriting was amazing. And so I found them and got them, and they are just so nice. They're not very expensive. I think $7 or $8 a piece, maybe. So that's really nice for handwriting, and they just go alphabetically. You've got A, B, and C. They go all the way through G. So divided up: basic, italic, and cursive italic. Okay, so here's one. I've not used this, but you may have heard of this. Homeschooling friend may have mentioned they use it, or that they know about it. So I've actually not used it, but it's very similar to the one that I do use for math, which is here, where they have workbooks. But I'm not very familiar with them. I just know that they're similar, and that they're another pretty well-known curriculum. Let's see. IW. I just learned about this one, and I really like it for writing, not handwriting, but for learning how to write, write sentences, write stories, how to use the it's like grammar, but you're using writing to learn the grammar. which there's another curriculum that you can also use. Language arts, learning language arts through literature. I don't have that one up, but I can link that one too. To go along with that, here's a spelling curriculum. There are spelling books, and it's very easy to learn to spell. See if maybe they have an example. I should have looked this up before I got on here, because this is turning into a really long video. Sorry about that. I don't know if they actually have a sample of their, like one of their pages. Oh. Huh. Okay. Okay, so basically what they do is they're going to build on spelling. Like in the beginning, they teach the word all, A-L-L. And then they'll say tall, and you're adding T in front, T-A-L-L. And then, like, for example, stall, S-T-A-L-L. So you're getting a basic, and then you're adding letters onto it to make different words. And it helps to learn how to spell. And there's several books. You can find these on Amazon. I don't know. Actually, you have to find them elsewhere because they don't sell them from their website. So you have Christian book distributors. This one, Rainbow Resources, that's a big resource for curriculum too, and AC Books. So that's another one. Let's see. That was the co-ops. I'm going to try to get Becca again. I'm not sure why that was not working a while ago. Becca comes from the Pensacola. They're based in Pensacola. There's a college, a big academy down there and everything. They're probably the biggest, I would say. Okay, one of the things that the reason we did not choose a Becca, I actually came in contact with it before my husband and I got married or had children at a Christian academy, and I learned that every couple of years they would have to buy all new DVDs because they would change them. And so I thought that was a waste of money, because some things, it doesn't matter how old it is, it's the same thing and you don't have to change it. But that's my opinion. They do have DVDs. You could get a whole big box of curriculum with DVDs, and you just put them in, and the teacher's there and teaches your child. They may have, I've not looked at it because I've not planned to do it. Oh, look, you can get a whole week free. Now you can do it yourself, or just maybe do some of it and let the DVD do some of it. But there is Rebecca Academy Video Homeschool. Okay. That's the videos. Okay. I was trying to see if you could just plug into their academy, but maybe not. So I believe it is DVDs and the books and everything. So that is another option. I know there's a lot of people that use it and they really enjoy it. So those are, and that is just a handful. There's, see, here's one that I briefly tried. And the problem I had was that they were older. I actually thought I had this pulled up, but maybe I closed it out. Okay, so this is a math that I did try for a little while, but it didn't work for us, so I ended up not doing it. That is CDs to go on the computer. It does have the answers for the homework and the tests that they do. You have to make sure that your computer is compatible with their version of, and evidently you can have an app. They didn't have that when I tried it. But so this is something, I know a lot of people really enjoy this one because it does have the CDs with the answers. And look, you can get them right there online too. The other one that I did mention that I also did for a little while is learning language arts through literature. Let's see. Okay, they have a lot of websites where you can get it from, but I don't. I think they do publish it. Common Sense Press is the publisher. That's right. I remembered. Okay, so learning language arts through literature. This is where you get a book, and they give you books to read, and then you learn the language arts grammar concepts through those books. Novels. In high school, they get into poetry and stuff. It tells you, let me see, it was easier to read. Okay, so going down, so right here, this is getting into high school. You do go in order because they do build. It's like first grade or something, kindergarten or first grade, you do the blue book, and then you just build as you go through school. And in high school are these 4 gold books. So you've got myths, proverbs, the Epic of Gilgamesh, ancient poetry, Odyssey. Okay, so different things. Got Pilgrim's Progress, Gulliver's Travels. Here's some short stories. Henry James, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Mark Twain. The Red Badge of Courage. They're reading a novel. There's some poetry. Novels. Poetry. Short stories. So they're very interesting. There's a lot of reading involved in that one. So, like I said, I did use that for a little while. If you do, one of the things I might have mentioned in the umbrella school video I did, that most umbrella schools do not require you to test. I know that different states test at different grades. They're around the same, real close to the same. And honestly, I don't know when Tennessee tests because we have never done testing, like state testing. Now, the curriculum comes with its own test. Most of the curriculum we use. I'll go back to the first one I talked about. Well, not the first one, but the second. This one, and each of these light units, not each of them. The first book is generally a review from the previous grade, but the rest of them will have 2 quizzes and a test, and it'll tell you when you're supposed to give the quizzes, and then the test obviously is when you finish the book. So there are, I mentioned placement test. So if you do have your children test, there's some placement tests you can get. And also, I do remember that this one does, I'm pretty sure they also have sample tests. If you're not sure where your child is, yeah, there they are, diagnostic tests, that you can get some from there and use them to find out where it's a joke kind of that, you know, they ask the homeschool child, what grade are you in? And they say, oh, which subject? Because it's true. Some, you know, some find reading so easy and could write a book by the time they're 15 or 13. Others, you know, struggle with it. Some are really good at math. So it just depends. You could, you know, that's true. A homeschool student could be at different levels in different subjects. But it's okay. That's just the way they learn. So, this has been a long video. I do apologize, but this is one of the biggest stumbling blocks to people when they decide to homeschool is what curriculum do I use? So, I hope that this has helped you a little. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I do apologize if you tried to comment on the other videos and the comments were turned off. I had to change some things, and now you should be able to comment on any of the videos. So, like I said, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, just send them on, and have a good day.